I'm Bev Saunders, president and co-founder of the Adirondack Pastel Society. We're celebrating our 14th year and our 8th annual Adirondack National Pastel Exhibition. It has been my mission early on to outreach our organization to the greater Adirondack region, and View is the perfect location in the heart of the Adirondacks. I would like to thank View for collaborating with the Adirondack Pastel Society for this national exhibition. Thank you, Heather, for all your work and efforts to make this show a success. I'd also like to thank Master Pastelist PSA Karen Israel for selecting and jurying awards. A Connecticut artist, Karen Israel's experience in the medium of soft pastels and as an exhibiting award-winning artist made her a perfect choice for the task. Thank you, Karen. I would like to thank all those who submitted art to support this exhibition. Thank you very much. We had over 60 artists and nearly 200 images submitted. Karen selected 85 pieces to create this exhibition. I'd like to thank especially the donors who generously gave to create our awards. 17 awards in all, $3,500 in cash and merchandise awards. That's awesome. Thank you, donors. Thanks again, View, Karen, artists, and everyone who made this possible.
Hi, everyone. First, I want to extend my gratitude and appreciation to the board of the Adirondack Pastel Society for the honor of jurying this excellent selection of pastel paintings. Kudos to each artist who submitted works to this show. My selection, initially, my goal was to get a sense of the submissions as an entire body of work. During this overview, some pieces immediately caught my eye. However, it was not my intention to look at each individual image at that point. Next, I spent several days viewing all the works, giving each a generous amount of consideration. Finally, my focus closed in on the merits of each piece. At the very end came a narrowing down of the submissions, which were noteworthy for their creative approach to the subject in its composition or palette. Additionally, paintings that evoked an emotional quality, causing me to ponder deeper meanings, are those to which I returned for deeper consideration in my selection. Then, when I went through choosing awards, what paintings did I feel deserved special recognition? All of these paintings were certainly special. Generally, these paintings exemplified many of the following attributes: design, draftsmanship, and emotional impact content. When considering the design, I would ask myself these questions. Are the large shapes of light and dark arranged in a compelling manner? Does the armature of the shapes allow me passage to enter and travel throughout this painting? Are the values linked in a way that pleases my eye? Did the artist break a design rule, right? And if so, were they successful at making that brave decision work for their painting? So then when I was considering the draftsmanship, I would ask, are the main elements of the painting drawn in proper proportion and perspective? Drawing, of course, is very important, but doesn't necessarily make for an interesting painting. Again, design and emotional impact weigh in on this decision. And then as far as emotional content, this is undeniably subjective and will be informed by a particular judge's training and background, life experiences, and taste. Paintings that evoked a strong emotional response weighed heavily in my decisions regarding selecting for awards. I revisited all of the submissions one last time and arrived at an answer to these following questions. Has the artist created a work that compels the viewer to explore using their imagination? Has the artist brought a new perspective to a common subject? Is the subject rendered in an unusual way or using an unusual palette? And regardless of the subject, is there a sense of light created or an atmosphere created? Is the artist's choice of color harmonious? And if it's not, was this intentional? Does that add to the artist's overall message? I find that at times people use colors, and that palette adds to the emotional content to the painting. And yet you might say, "Ooh, that doesn't make sense," but it does hit home a good message. So that was my process for selecting selection and for awards. The best of show, I don't even have the title, but this is a compelling portrait of a young boy. His gaze is directed and intimate, but retains a sense of mystery, adding to the poignancy of the portrait. The artist effectively creates an expression of longing on the boy's face. The artist's choice of line and loosely painted background forces the viewer to remain focused on his face. The highlights on the boy's eyes and lips impart a wet texture, evoking a sense of subliminal turmoil. The artist chose varied warm skin tones, which are present throughout the entire painting and contrast so effectively with the color tones of the background and the boy's shirt. Second place award. The most striking aspect of this work about crows is its dynamic design. The group of birds are aligned in a somewhat diagonal formation. Notice how some of the birds are well defined, others are grouped together and abstracted, with some of the shapes coming in and out of the picture's plane. The use of color is harmonious, employing a neutral background that integrates the pinks found throughout this painting. The unexpected diagonal lines of orange and green added a metaphorical exclamation point. Additionally, the repetition of those same unexpected colors throughout the painting is so effective in making the elements cohere. By employing this method, the artist artfully captures the birds' discrete personalities. I love this painting. Okay. Third place, this is a painting about solitude and quiet, an intimate moment of a young girl engrossed in reading. I love the way the artist handled the subtle shifts of values, especially in the dark background. Using geometric shapes, the artist effectively added a great deal of interest to the background. The warmth in the girl's hair and clothing are painted simply, with many cooler tones breaking up the solid forms. The complexity of the design is achieved through the use of diagonals, seen most notably in the book's angle and the opposing diagonal of the girl's arm. The figure's varied edges are expertly handled, some sharp and in focus, while others soft, adding to the success of this beautiful work. Then the Judge's Choice Award. It says Betsy Dugan, View Arts Center for Arts and Culture. The artist's choice of a panoramic format is a creative one, as it accentuates the horizontal nature of its main subject. The tenuous balance of the horn provides a palpable feeling of suspense and makes this a fanciful still life. It was really fun to look at. Now the Still Life Award. This is a painting about suspense. One is left to wonder if the structure will maintain its integrity or collapse. The artist's choice of an off-center placement of this Jenga tower, like the toy that children play with, is very effective as it creates a dramatic space around the tower, furthering this theme of unease. The artist's handling of edges with varying degrees of sharpness deftly adds to the tension. Okay, so that in a nutshell is why I chose the pieces I chose. And I hope everybody learned from the experience, because that's all part of all of us growing as artists.